I don't know very many people in the personal finance world telling you this, but there's one goal in personal finance. For everyone, for all those moguls out there, whether you're listening or watching or whatever it is, you have one goal, and that's to make it so that your passive income is larger than your monthly expenses. That's the goal of personal finance. All the other things that they talk about, budgeting, paying off debt, investing in the stock market, saving for college, all that kind of stuff is aspects of the overarching objective, which is that your passive income is larger than your monthly expenses. That is the real wealth formula. If you're an active real estate investor and you're not using FreedomSoft, I got bad news for you. You're getting beat by other active investors who've been utilizing this CRM software for well over a decade. We're able to close deals faster, more consistently, and with higher margins. So if you're tired of getting beat, go to realwealthformula.com/sponsors and click on the FreedomSoft link. Start doing more deals today. You are really wealthy when you get there. So this entire show, every episode that we produce, is designed to help you take one more step, one more practical step towards that end means. Because imagine if you were living on your passive income. Imagine if you knew every month, if you were living on 10 grand a month, that covers all the house bills and the transportation and food and kids' sports and private school. If you take your kids to private school, which I hope you do. Imagine if all of that was covered with just your passive income. Now you're wealthy. You don't have to work another day in your life. Whatever you decide to do, you're doing because you want to do, not because you have to do. You're doing to help increase your wealth, not just survive. And I think a lot of people, regardless of being high earners, regardless of making six figures, are in that position where they're living paycheck to paycheck. They're spending whatever comes in. They're not saving for the future. They're certainly not retirement, which, by the way, the definition of retirement, my definition of retirement, is the same definition as wealth, which is that my passive income is larger than my monthly expenses. That's the objective. That's the goal. Once you get there, imagine you don't have to work anymore, ever. You can retire. Now, I retired when I was 31 years old in 2013, and my passive income was larger than my monthly expenses. The residual that I was getting from all of my investments had made it so that I could not have to work anymore. That lasted for about 2 weeks. Turns out there's only so much golf you can play. Okay. There's only so much pool time you can observe or go to the beach. Or there's only so much travel that you can actually do, because humans were not created to just sit around being unproductive. Like this idea that when you retire, your euphoria is just going to the beach all day. Or like I said, playing golf. No, humans were created to produce, to make, to manage, to do something beautiful with their lives. My objective is now going into this fifth L, is to help you leave a legacy. And that legacy is something that is bigger than yourself. We first want to get you out of survival mode. That's where we reduce your monthly expenses. We then want to get you making some more money with various ways to make additional active income. We then want you to start acquiring passive income, and I'll show you how and tips and tricks and all these kind of things, so that you can live on your passive income and never have to work again. But that's not the end goal. That's not real wealth. Real wealth is thinking about the legacy that you're going to live, the legacy that you're going to leave as well, to your kids, to the community, to your church, to whatever it is that you are passionate about, whatever cause that you're saying, yes, my life is for something much bigger than this. I'll tell you about my legacy, leaving a legacy in subsequent episodes. But I wanted to tell you, I want to take a gigantic step back and tell you where I was before I started this path, before I went around the bases, first base, second base, third base, and home plate, right? These 4 steps plus a bonus. I was managing a hotel. This is 2008. I was absolutely broke. Okay. My wife at the time came to me and said, "Hey, Brad, we're going to a wedding tonight. I'm at Target. I've got this beautiful dress. It's $50. Do you think I can get it?" Well, just that question kind of indicates where we were at financially at that time. She knew that things were pretty tight. And though I had just got paid November 1st, 2008, I just gotten paid, we didn't have the money. In fact, what I was doing at the time, I don't know if you've been there, was I was like doing these paycheck advance type things where I would try to, I'd go and get some money. And then this was with Wells Fargo at the time. I would go and borrow some money from Wells Fargo just to kind of make ends meet. And then when my paycheck came in, they would pull it out with interest, of course. I was also doing ATM. I think this is illegal now. I was doing ATM loans to myself where you'd go in and say, hey, give me $500. And they say, okay. Then the next time at least $500 entered in your account, they would pull out $550. And so it was costing me 10%. I was doing that almost on I don't know if weekly basis, but probably twice a month basis. And so we were tight. Like it was tight. And in fact, November 1st, 2008, we were still like, I believe, living with my wife at the time, her parents. And so she calls me up and says, hey, can I get this $50 dress? And I go, nah, we can't. We don't have any money. I just got paid. They pulled it right back out. There is no money. We barely have enough money to kind of, get groceries and gas for the next 2 weeks until I get paid again. And she was super gracious, super nice, wonderful. She said, that's okay. I'll find something else. Of course, she looked amazing, but I went into my office because I was managing a hotel, right? I'm the GM. Went into my office and I just cried like a baby. I said, I'm not a man. I can't provide. Rough situation. That's the part that I've told quite a bit. Now that I'm doing this show, I want to be as transparent as I can be. That was November 1st, 2008. November 2nd of 2008, we had a baby. Her name was Molly. She was sick. She was in Children's Hospital at the time. She was 3 months old. And we had been waiting for a transplant. She had a rare disease called MMIH, Megacystis microcolon intestinal hyperperistalsis. That sounds very bad. It is. And it's so bad that it's like, her intestines didn't really connect. So she had the upper and the lower, but they didn't connect. Turns out humans need intestines in order to survive. And her bladder didn't work well. In fact, while she was in my wife at the time, her womb, they would go in with a big needle because the baby couldn't process, things out of her bladder, right? They would go in with a big needle and I mean, we're talking very large, scary 10, 12-inch needle seemed like to me, with ultrasound, go into her belly and pull out urine, like liters and like a lot, just to give my wife at the time and the baby some relief while they're waiting for her to be born. And so for 3 months, she was dealing with this. And we were hoping for what's called a multivisceral transplant. This is where they were going to take out some organs and put new organs back in. Propstream is the most comprehensive and AI-enhanced real estate data provider nationwide. We equip real estate professionals with powerful tools and marketing solutions, helping them make informed decisions and find top leads faster. Visit realwealthformula.com/sponsors for a special link to get a free trial and a ton of goodies only for you, Real Wealth Formula moguls. Well, November 1st, the whole dress story that I've told before happened. But what I haven't told is November 2nd, we got the call. That night after we left the wedding, we got a call at 3:00 in the morning to get on a Learjet, fly to Omaha, Nebraska. We live in Denver, Colorado. And the world-renowned surgeon was going to do this multivisceral transplant. And he has a 85% success rate. So successful that my mother-in-law at the time loaded up our car with a bunch of clothes because the plan was that my wife at the time and Molly would stay in Omaha while me and my older son, he was 2 years old, I believe, almost 2 at the time, would stay in Denver while I was working and planting the church and all that kind of stuff. But we would be separated. Like we'd be far apart from each other. 6 or 7 hours is the drive. So they loaded us up. The full expectation, because of what we heard from the doctor, was there's an 85% chance that she's going to live for a whole year. And so this was going to become our new reality, man. And November 2nd, we get the call. We go up to Omaha, Nebraska, planning on, again, living in 2 separate places. During the surgery, supposed to be a 6 or 7 hour surgery, about 3 or 4 hours in, they call us, and I'm thinking, oh, great, they got done soon. This was easy peasy. Turns out that was not the case. Molly, our baby, 3 months old, passed away on the operating table. And one of the worst days of my life was that day. Hearing that your baby passed away gets you emotional, right? Incredibly emotional at the time. And the part that really got me the most was the day before. I couldn't afford a dress. She had $1.3 million worth of medical bills. Luckily, I had health insurance, but there was a $5,000 deductible that I needed to pay. I couldn't afford that. To bury her was $5,000. Could not afford that. You want to talk about low of low? That's where I was at, man. Where bills and bills are piling up, medical bills and just life bills, and I'm not making enough money. I'm managing this hotel, but it's just not enough. And my wife is wanting certain things, and we want certain things for our family and the vision for our life. And I'm like, none of this is happening. And so I made a decision that day, November 1st, that something had to change. Something had to change. We could not do this anymore. There's no more. We can't afford these things. We've got to get our financial life under control. And that control needs to be, first, we're getting out of debt. We're getting our personal finances in order. We're now earning some more money. We're now getting some passive income. It is the real wealth formula that I'm teaching you, that I'm passionate about. Because, man, I want to get you out of the situation that you're in right now. I want you to start thriving. I want you to start seeing the financial success that you deserve. Like, you deserve it. You're working hard. You're going to work every day. You're coming home, and it should be enough. We just got to make a few tweaks and adjustments and maybe some education, and maybe you need to learn a few things. So stick around on all these podcasts. This is for you. It is to help you get out of the same situation that I was in. Broke, financially hopeless, despairing. And I can tell you from experience, there is a clear path. If something we said hit home for you, drop it in the comments. I read every single one.